I grew up with vegetable gardens as a child. I got mighty sick of being sent out by Mom to pick beans, but as a grown-up, I came back to wanting to plant stuff I could eat. And my house here in Stratford has a good-sized yard with a patch perfect for vegetable gardening, except for one thing. It's coming. It'll be here soon. Its suspense is killing you, I know. Ah, there it is, the dreaded black walnut. It's a beautiful tree, but only shallow-rooted veggies like lettuce will grow in the backyard thanks to juglone. It's a toxin produced by walnuts that kills almost all vegetables. Still, I never thought of putting vegetables in the front yard until... More suspense. Oh, the great Stratford flood of 2002. We were one of the lucky ones that only had storm sewer water backing up in our basement twice. Drained, and then it whooshed back up the drain and filled it again. And so it came to pass that the city of Stratford decided it really needed to do something about sewer capacity, and that was a wise decision. Our street was one of many torn up over a 5-year plan to make sure that flooding never happened again. We nicknamed our street Beirut for the summer, as it was torn up, filled in, torn up, filled in again. Half of the front yard disappeared in the big dig. By the fall, finally, it was filled in, rebuilt, and the yard was resodded. Now, I don't know what the city workers used to fill in that front yard, but I can report to you it was nothing like soil. The sod hung on for the first year, but by the second summer, there was only thistles and other apocalypse-surviving weeds. You think I exaggerate? Heh. Our snoopy friend, Mr. Google Maps to the rescue, actually documented the moment. This is spring 2009, and the front yard was beyond repair. Top dressing, reseeding, nothing worked because underneath was caca. The only way to solve the problem was to start over. So, landscaper Daniel Shoag and crew to the rescue. Away went the weeds and the infested lawn and the caca, and in came real soil. We talked about planting grass again, and then Daniel asked the fateful question, do you like to garden? Until you decide what you want to do with the yard, how about putting in a few vegetables? So, he put a strip of sod at the front to hold the soil, and then I got planting. It was June, pretty late for veggies. But in went tomato and zucchini plants, the beans of my childhood, but also vegetables my mom would not have recognized, like Swiss chard and edamame. And what flowers went in were edibles. Daylilies, nasturtium. You can eat nasturtiums, and I have some for you later. Herbs such as dill with yellow lacy flowers and purple tufted chives. Also 2 small sage plants that have grown to be patches this big. I have sage for you too. Now, the question I get asked most frequently is, well, don't people steal stuff out of your garden? I mean, it's right out there. And my answer is, well, at least once that I know of, although I don't think they'll ever do it again. It was a warm September weekday. I was not at work. I was on a lounge chair in the side deck, not exactly as illustrated, when I heard the voice of a brace of boys from Central Secondary. They frequently used a word that sounded a lot like duck.
Man, what the duck is that? It's a duck and cucumber. I'm gonna get it for my mom.
Now, there were, for the record, no cucumbers in the garden. Now, part of me wanted to spring up and yell, "Stop, vegetable thief!" But it was warm and it was sunny and I was pretty blissed out, so I thought, it's just some vegetables. It's not worth the aggravation. So, one zucchini, mistaken for a cucumber, got lifted. And then I heard another voice join in.
Hey, I'm gonna duck and get one too.
So there was a pause and shuffling. And soon, oh, no. Yeah. It's duck! That duck and plant bit me! Oh, for the non-gardeners in the crowd, zucchini stems are pretty prickly. So this high school would-be veggie thief went running down the street howling. And word must have gotten around because that was the last theft, at least that I witnessed. Now, there is something wonderful about eating what you've grown. The tomatoes might have spots, and maybe those beets are weirdly shaped, but gol darn it, those are my tomatoes and my beets. It's also nice to come home from work after a long day and pick a fresh salad from the front yard. Now, I am in no way a wonderfully organized gardener, harvester. I don't put away vegetables in the freezer beyond a few jars of pesto. But things like kale and cabbage and carrots last until snowfall, and you can start snipping chives as soon as the snow melts. But the best thing about a front yard garden, though, is not the vegetables you get out of it, but it's the people you get in it. When I'm out weeding or picking things on the weekend, people stop by and talk. They ask what the plants are. They tell me stories about gardening or cooking. One neighborhood mom walked by regularly with her 2 little ones and were teaching them about the plants that were growing. That was a good food growing lesson for them. People don't do that when you sit in your backyard. And maybe I've started a trend. This picture, that family I talked about who came by, this is their front yard now, just a couple blocks from where I live. So I invite you, do you have a slab of grass, whether luscious or weedy, in front of your house? When was the last time you used your front yard? If the answers are yes and I can't remember, consider losing the lawn. You'll make friends, you'll eat better, and you'll have a duckin' good time.